All right, hopefully I have audio. Hopefully. All right. It's episode 233 of Genius Take the Wheel. I've spent most of my waking hours this weekend being coached on coaching. So I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about my experience. Hopefully that didn't ruin. Hold on a second. All right, that should fix the problem, I think. All right. Sorry about that. Just wanted to get rid of CarPlay. I don't want it taking over the audio, and you can't get the audio back. Let me try this. All right, wanted to just make sure that I don't get screwed trying to get this recorded properly. All right, so I was able to go all the way across yesterday. All right. Yeah, so I spent, pretty much this entire weekend, all my waking hours, being coached on how to be a better coach from a health and safety perspective, from the approach of someone who deals with people who has either dealt with injuries or looking to avoid injuries, people who've had surgeries. And I learned a lot about what's true and what's not true about attempting to lift heavy and lift dynamically. If you're worried about injury or you've had injuries, including surgeries. So it was a really good experience to kind of have some of the more accepted accepted narrative in the fitness community among athletic trainers, coaches, personal trainers, physical therapists, and really seeing that a lot of what we used to believe is just outdated and defunct, obsolete. And so I just think that it's really eye-opening. I think the thing that stood out to me most is that most people walk around with structural degradation that they are not aware of, that if they were aware of it, most people would just quit. They would stop moving. They would stop trying to do stuff. A lot of the injuries that we thought used to be a death sentence for being strong and stable and athletic and dynamic is just not true in a lot of cases. Not in all cases, but they're not true in every case. If you've had a rotator cuff tear, It doesn't mean that you cannot overhead press or bench press. You know, it's really more of an approach of working through inhibitions to movement and or pain, and managing the issues around loss of mobility or discomfort, and also dealing with discomfort. Not all pain is bad pain. I think it's good to note that there are times where you may not feel good in the gym, and it's really not that much of a danger sign unless it comes with other symptoms or other factors. So I think all of these things are important. I don't know what's happening here. Yeah, we're not gonna be able to like get past you, buddy. I don't think. This big ass box truck is in front of me, and it looks like he's trying to clear some space to the side, but I don't think. I'm gonna see if I can get past him in my little 2-seater convertible. I don't know about the people behind me though. I guess we'll see. All right, so yeah, there are a lot of myths busted, and I think that what it does is it empowers people to assess each individual based upon what they're able to do, what they're not able to do, and what they feel when they attempt to do things. To learn that so many people are walking around with tears in their body that people are like super duper afraid of, and they have just no real, they don't have any real clue because they don't feel any pain and they're not being impacted. Like their ability to move is not being impacted. And even for people that do have diagnosed injuries, right? It's not, if you can kind of get some movement patterns to recover themselves and build up strength and stability, there's a lot that you can do that a lot of medical professionals will tell you can't do it. And I think one of my favorite things about this class is that more than half of the people who signed up to this class, more than half of them were physical therapists and not personal trainers, not athletic trainers. Most of them were physical therapists. And I really do appreciate that, because I think that it is very useful to have practitioners out there working with people on a day-to-day basis that a personal trainer like myself can refer somebody out to and know that they're in good hands. If they are dealing with a serious injury or a moderate injury, or they may have some warning signs that if something doesn't change, that they could be at heightened risk for injury. I think that it would be a really great thing if there were more physical therapists out there that not just work with athletes, but are athletes themselves, to get out there and train, to get out there and find strength goals to try to reach for themselves, so that they have a better understanding of who they are working with. You know, I find that a lot of medical professionals, especially those who are sort of kind of newly licensed, or you can even make the case that some of them are also people who have been in the medical field for so long, but they don't really keep up with what's new as far as information is concerned. You know, you just get too many of them that the first thing they want to tell you if you've been hurt or you fear getting hurt is, well, you know, don't squat, don't deadlift, don't do this, don't do that. And, you know, the human body is just a little bit more resilient and more capable than a lot of us give our own bodies credit for. I work with people who have had injuries. I've worked with people who are older. I work with women, young and old. And there's so many misconceptions about what they can and cannot do. And I just think that I do like where people are going when it comes to, or where the industry is going, when it comes to where athleticism and coaching meets the medical side of things. I think that there's been a lot of fitness professionals and medical professionals talking past each other or putting each other down, or just outright contradicting each other without really listening to what the other side has to offer. And I get it, you know, if you're a doctor and you went into $250,000 worth of student loan debt for medical school to earn the MD, you know, behind your name and the DR in front of your name, like I did not do, then you want to feel like what you say takes precedent over everything else. But again, you know, doctors, they are not medicine. They practice medicine. So that means that they should always be looking for the latest in information on the human body, so that they can give the best information and also give the best course of treatment for their patients. And I think that sometimes people just get so caught up in dogma and really pushing absolutes. You know, the human body can do so many things, there are not too many absolutes out there. So that was a very cool thing to learn this weekend. I guess she's a doctor of like physical therapy or something, Dr. Susie. She has a channel on YouTube, Dr. Susie Squats. Excellent instructor, really put out, you know, good information. made sure that she stayed away from dogma. That's one of the things that I really liked. I did not agree with a lot of what I agreed with a lot of what she said. I did not agree with every single thing she said. But I think in the grand scheme of things, we do agree. We might just have a different way of processing it in our minds and then distributing or disseminating that information to her patients, or in my case, my clients. So it was really nice to get some really good information and cues on how to put people in the most advantageous positions in certain lifts that, if you're not careful, they can be very dangerous. And so, I hit that deadlift some weeks ago, and it really felt pretty bad. And it was pretty cool to to know where I was deficient, even in my own movement, and how to notice deficiencies in the movements of others that don't require people that make super radical changes in how they approach the deadlift or how they approach the squat. And in some cases, you look at things and you're like, a lot of sunlight there in this back window. Sorry about that, guys. It's kind of bright. Looking at the bench press, looking at the approach to the bench press and improving that is something that I'm very excited about. I'm very excited about some of the things that I can do to help people feel more confident. So that's the biggest thing. All of you should be more confident in your ability to move. All of you. In some way, shape, form, or fashion, you are more capable of moving effectively than you think. That to me, that's a liberating thing. That's a thing that makes me feel better. It makes me feel less nervous as a coach when I coach other people. It makes me feel less nervous when I am training myself. The good doctor, she said the same thing that a bodybuilding coach said to me not too long ago, which is I am basically working too hard for too long, and my program asks too much of me for too long a period of time, so it's causing me to have some problems like that left quad tendinosis I was talking to you guys about, that I had those issues with. Shit, I cannot block this light out. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Wow. That light is ridiculous. So I feel like I have so many more arrows in my quiver to help you guys feel better about what you're doing. If you've had herniated discs, doesn't mean that you can't squat and deadlift. If you've had rotator cuff issues, doesn't mean you can't bench press. It was definitely money well spent as far as getting useful information that helps me cover the group of people that I normally work with. And the ones that I normally work with are general population people who live with pain. they sit at a desk all day, call it work. They are stuck in different joint positions for long periods of time, and they don't get up and move, and it causes pain and discomfort. It causes mobility issues. And those people can get up from their desks and they can go out there and they can squat and deadlift heavy according to what heavy is for them at whatever place they are in their training. So I'm very happy that I got this advertisement for this class. They do this barbell rehab course in multiple cities around the country, so that's cool. I was thinking about maybe taking another one of their courses at some point in the future, to learn more things that will give me more confidence as a coach, that if somebody comes to me with something atypical, that I don't have to panic and be like, oh shit, something bad is really going to happen and it's going to ruin my career. No, a little bit of pain here or there is not going to wreck them or what they would like to accomplish. One of the things I thought that was that really wowed me is people who are on the pain scale of a 3 out of 10 or a 4 out of 10 while training, is, especially post-surgery, is not necessarily a bad thing. And I tell my clients all the time that sometimes the pain that they're feeling is really just the body remembering being injured and wanting to protect you from putting yourself in certain physical positions that lead you back to the injury. So I think that letting people know that even if they are, that sun is right there, even if they are hurt, if they have been hurt, if they've had surgeries, that there are different methodologies to bring them a step or three backwards to then push them several steps forward, and to regain the confidence in their ability to move and to bear load. Pause. So there's a lot that I have to think about, because it was a lot of information, a large, huge information dump. So there's a lot of different concepts swimming in my head, especially when it comes to programming and looking for red flags in people's movements. So, I got a lot that I would like to accomplish when it comes to, just being able to help people who, have, irritation and pain and, surgery histories. And I've got quite a few of those on my roster right now. So, learning how to help people manage their issues is, it's really, really nice. And it puts me in a different headspace when thinking about how I would like to approach training for really anybody who could, step in front of me. So I'm pretty wow, there is an asshole in a C8 Corvette that is just just swerving lanes and trying to jump in front of people and trying to skip lines. It's like, dude, you're making the world a worse place for other people to exist in. Nobody wants to sit in the heavy traffic. You know, nobody wants to sit in the heavy traffic. None of us do. None of us want to be in the traffic. So annoying. Now I feel like I need to like get up on the bumper on the vehicle in front of me because, you know, there are people trying to cut the line thinking that they're fucking slick. People are fucking annoying. Golly. Just share the road. Anyway, you know, we did get up and move today, so, and this is a deload week for me. I'm still probably gonna rest the following week and take the time to think about how I'm gonna program, you know, my legs going forward. But I'm happy. I have a lot more information. I have many more ways to attack familiar problems that I really just had no idea about. Or no idea, I can't say no idea about, but no idea on like really how to attack the issues effectively. And now I have that ability, and I'm very happy with that. Anyway, I'm gonna be up out of here. I always want to thank you guys for riding with me on this channel. If you're watching this after, definitely leave a comment. Saying anything, really. I will be back here on Tuesday morning like I normally am. And hoping that you guys are enjoying your Sunday morning, afternoon, evening.